having a respirator program, and that they are using filtration systems if that's feasible, reducing levels of physical activity, especially strenuous and heavy work, and just making accommodations for people with things like air filters and HVA systems and other things.
Doug Parker is Assistant Secretary of Labor for Occupational Safety and Health and Director of OSHA. Doug, thanks.
You're very welcome.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm E. Martinez.
And I'm Layla Falded.
And now Michael Hill, Marketplace Morning Report is next. Salsa music has its roots in multiple places. The International Salsa Museum is holding pop-up exhibitions in New York City, but museum leaders hope to open a permanent site in 2029. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. '67 and partly sunny out there right now on this Juneteenth, partly sunny and 81 for a high. Dry today, dry tomorrow, partly sunny and 77. Then on Wednesday, we should have some more clouds and a high of 75. Again, partly sunny and 67 in the city at 6:51.
WNYC is supported by Apple TV Plus, presenting the new series, The Reluctant Traveler, with Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy visits some of the world's most intriguing destinations reluctantly. Awards eligible. Now streaming on Apple TV Plus.
On the next Brian Lehrer Show, it's Juneteenth Independence Day, and we'll be joined live for the holiday by Harvard historian Annette Gordon-Reed about the origins and how people are celebrating now. And also with relevance to Juneteenth, Radiolab producer Alex Neeson talks about the journey she took into her own family history to figure out why her late grandfather's last name was not what she thought it was. The Brian Lehrer Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on WNYC.
When will all states recognize Juneteenth?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Angie, dedicated to helping homeowners get home projects not just done, but done well. Reviews, pricing, and booking at Angie.com or on the Angie app. And by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
From Marketplace, I'm Nova Safo in for David Brancaccio. Happy Juneteenth, a commemoration of the day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, learned they were free. They were among the last groups of enslaved people to be freed in the United States. Juneteenth became a federal holiday 2 years ago, but about half the states in the country have yet to adopt it as an official state holiday. Efforts to change that are ongoing. Here's Marketplace's Henry Epp.
Minnesota Senate President Bobby Joe Champion sponsored a bill signed into law this year making Juneteenth a state holiday, meaning state workers get a paid day off. He knows there's a cost, but
the benefits outweigh the costs, right? You know, productivity is increased when people feel good about their workplace.
And he hopes private companies follow suit too. The holiday is an opportunity for celebration and education, says Michigan State Representative Helena Scott, whose Juneteenth measure just passed last week.
Slavery really is a stain on our society. So I think by acknowledging this, recognizing it, and really learning about it, that's the whole point of celebrating June 19th.
But at least 20 states have yet to make Juneteenth a legal holiday. There's precedent for this in Martin Luther King Day, says Dartmouth history professor Matthew Delmont.
Understanding that it took years and years of activism and education to finally get all states to adopt it, Juneteenth could likely follow a similar trajectory.
It was 17 years before MLK Day was an official holiday in all 50 states. I'm Henry Epp for Marketplace.
Let's do the numbers. Well, Wall Street's closed for the Juneteenth holiday. Overseas, the FTSE in London is down 0.4%. The Shanghai Composite Index in China closed down 0.5%. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with China's leader Xi Jinping this morning, capping a rare trip to that country. The talks come after China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi told Blinken that the two countries had to choose between cooperation and conflict, and blamed the U.S. for having a misconception of China. BBC correspondent Stephen McDonnell is in Beijing.
China's foreign minister told the U.S. Secretary of State that relations between their countries were at their lowest point since the re-establishment of diplomatic ties. There are genuine fears that armed conflict between the superpowers is possible, so systems are needed to avoid this. On his trip to Beijing, Antony Blinken has now also met Wang Yi, China's top diplomat. They shook hands inside a hall at the Diaoyutai State Guest House before heading into a closed-door meeting.
At the start of that meeting, by the way, China's President Xi said there's been progress on some issues, but no details yet.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers comprehensive cybersecurity protection while automating cyber defense to stop threats so organizations can thrive. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by Odoo, focused on providing all-in-one open-source business management software with fully integrated applications for every business need. More at odoo.com. And by Fidelity, a dedicated Fidelity advisor can help create a wealth plan for a full financial picture. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
In Argentina, workers have been on strike for weeks, demanding higher wages to keep up with soaring inflation, which is more than 100% in the South American country. People there are no strangers to economic upheaval, but many are now desperately struggling to pay for the basics. The BBC's Valley Fontaine reports from Buenos Aires.
In the last 12 months, inflation in Argentina rose by over 100%, causing the value of the Argentine currency, the peso, to continue plummeting. Hola, Gabriel. Muy bien, gracias. Muchas gracias. Gabriel owns his own apartment and is considered middle class in Argentina.
Y bueno, el mío particular, porque yo sé que hay otras. Sometimes I say I'm going to probably have a good meal at lunchtime and then some biscuits before I go to bed rather than having lunch and proper dinner. And then everything is going up. So I do get quite worried because that means I will have to sell my apartment and go somewhere else. But the problem is, at the moment, nobody's got money to buy an apartment. So the only way to survive is stay put and tighten your belt as much as you can.
Argentina began the 20th century as one of the richest countries in the world. By 2001, a struggling economy led to public debt, social unrest, the collapse of the banking system, and the government confiscating bank accounts. In the years since, the blue dollar, which refers to Argentina's black market, US dollar exchange rate, emerged due to a lack of access to foreign currencies, but buying dollars is not an option for everyone.
It's pretty difficult being an immigrant. When I arrived here in 2017, the dollar was 16 pesos, and now 437.
26-year-old Brenda left Venezuela because of high inflation and came to Argentina.
I feel like this is a second Venezuela, a country that once were so welcoming with immigrants is now losing all these people because young people like me is leaving to Europe or just United States.
The price of food has been hit hardest. Since January, it's risen by 41%, so much so that Victor often has to survive without cash.
I exchange things which I don't need, like trousers and shoes, gym shoes.
And what sort of things do you swap them for?
Fruits, vegetables, and meat.
According to Argentina's National Statistics Agency, INDEC, 40% of the population are living in poverty. This means a family of four are living on less than $760 per month, of which just under half of that figure would be needed to buy basic food.
That was the BBC's Valley Fontaine reporting. Tomorrow is World Refugee Day, and to mark the occasion, some 40 multinational companies have pledged to hire more than 13,000 refugees in Europe. A start Worldwide, there are 110 million refugees, according to the United Nations, including 12 million from Ukraine. I'm Nova Safo with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.